My name is Tori McCall and I work for the Yolo Basin Foundation and the Department of Fish and Game. You can see my patches on my arms, but I also work for the Yolo Basin Foundation, and that is the organization that helps to support the Discover the Flyway program for schools, which is what you're all participating in today, to learn more about wetlands and wildlife. Okay, I would like to know real quickly what you know about wetlands already. Who can tell me one reason why wetlands are good? What's one benefit that we get from wetlands? Go ahead. Animals live there, so what do we call that? It begins with an H. Who said habitat? Good. So wetlands provide habitat for animals, and not only for animals, for fish and insects and all sorts of wildlife, right? And plants. So they provide habitat for all those things, right? Good. What else? Big crop that you probably eat at least once a week. It's white, little grain. Rice. Rice grows in wetlands. Did you know that? Yeah, some of you did. And rice is really important here, isn't it? A lot of it's grown in the Central Valley, isn't it? So wetlands are therefore really important to the Central Valley and also to other parts of the world, across the country as well, right? We'll learn more about them today. Well, you seem to know a lot of benefits. What about floods? Do wetlands help with floods? You know how the Central Valley gets really wet in the winter? Do you think that they help with floods? No? How? How do you think they help with floods? The people who are saying yes. They absorb the water. Excellent. Yes, exactly right. And you're going to learn more about that in your soil activity that you're going to do today. You'll see how that actually works, how they act like a big sponge and hold floodwaters back from our homes, to keep our homes from flooding. Excellent. What else? We had flood control, habitat for animals, food, right? What else? Anything else? What about water purification so that we can have clean water? You think they help with that? Yes, they do. So they help purify water too, and you'll learn a little bit more about that today in your soil activity as well. Okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about the place you're at right now so you're familiar with what we're going to do and what this place is, and then we'll get started in our activities, okay? All right, this is called the Yolo Demonstration Wetland Area right here where we are. And you can see this fence that borders the whole area. This whole area that we're going to use as our little laboratory today and explore is 3 acres. Okay, so it's a demonstration wetland. The big wildlife area that I'm going to take you to later, the big wetlands, is 2 miles to the east, and that's 3,700 acres. So you can imagine how much larger that is. Isn't that huge? That's why we have this demonstration wetland area, this 3 acres. What we've done is kind of taken a snapshot of the big wildlife area out there and put it right here on a much smaller scale so that all you kids can explore it and learn things from it on a much smaller scale. It's a lot easier on 3 acres than 3,700, isn't it? Right, so all the habitat types that we have out in the big wetlands, the big wildlife area, we have right here. So we've kind of taken that snapshot and recreated everything that we'd find out in the wildlife area right here. So the first habitat type I want to tell you about is this big pond right behind you. You can just turn around and look. The water is always there, and that's what makes it a permanent wetland. So even in the hottest part of the summer, it's always going to have water in it, right? Good. So that's a permanent wetland. This is the plant identification station. Everybody's going to do each of these activities, but this is station 1. Station 2 is right where that table is, right in the center of the trail. That's the pond activity. That's station 2. Station 3 is all the way back there where you see that big box with all the buckets and things on it. That's station number 3. That's your soil activities, okay? And station number 4 is that table straight across the seasonal pond. That's going to be where you're going to be doing all your water quality monitoring and all the chemistry today, okay?
Each one of you is going to get a guide that lists plants that you find in the wildlife area. You'll find these posts right around the path, right on the edge of the wetlands. If it has a black number on it, it's one you need to take a look at because that's one you're trying to identify. What you're going to do is when you find one of these posts, you're going to look right at the base of the post and try to identify the plant. And this is kind of organized in terms of whether it's a tree in the first couple of pages, or a wetland grass, or an upland grass. So first thing you do when you get to that post is look right at the base of it and try to figure out what it is it's trying to identify.
Does this look like something that would grow in the water?
Now, it looks like it's an upland grass, right?
This one.
Meadow barley. Are you good? Look at that. And you can tell by the way the seeds come right out on the side.
So we put meadow barley.
So you put meadow barley. Now on some of the grasses, you don't see quite as much information on your guide about what they're used for. But if you were to take a guess, barley, what do you think that would be used for? Somebody might eat it, maybe?
Feed it to
Yeah. So we have a lot of animals, like the rabbits and the ground squirrels, as Tori was telling you about, and a lot of birds.
There's all kinds of wildlife the kids are seeing. You can hear the birds in the background. They're seeing all kinds of insects, the diversity of plants. We're doing some soil and water testing, so they're learning all the chemistry, which is very new for 7th graders. So they're getting a lot out of it. They're very excited.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna get down into the water, kind of bend down and reach your net out and put your net all the way down to the bottom and gently kind of pull it through the vegetation. Don't scrape too hard because you'll get a bunch of junk, like a bunch of muck. But see how I already got bugs in there? See them all moving? There's tons of bugs in there already, just on that one little scoop. So you'll catch lots of stuff. So what you wanna do is gently pull it across the vegetation, scoop it up, look real closely, see if anything's moving, and I guarantee you almost every time you do this, you're gonna catch invertebrates, okay? Let's see what you got.
Yeah, there's a little bug in there.
You got a couple little ones.
Oh, I got one of the long ones.
Go ahead, you can go ahead and put those in the tank too. How are you doing?
Can any hit?
You will though, just keep trying.
What's this long one right here?
Let me see.
It's like right on my finger.
Oh, that's a mayfly nymph.
I'm flipping around.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at them. That is a back swimmer. Oh, you've got a whole bunch. Yeah, get them in the water before they croak. You know what? I'll pass everybody some bugs, okay? So just give me a second. I want everybody to look at these bugs, okay? There's a couple different ones in here, but I want you to look at the big swimming ones, okay? You girls can use that one. There's a whole bunch of different ones in here. Why don't you try and identify a couple of them, okay, with your sheet? And look closely at them, because some of them may be deceiving the way they look. And also, kids, everybody listen real quick. I've also got these, okay? These have a lot of natural history on them, the bugs you're gonna find. Not every one of the bugs that we've got in these invertebrates that we have in the containers are on these sheets. Some of them are in these keys, so you might want to look through here too. And there's a couple of them.
They're being like real scientists in the real world, where scientists will get together from different locations to conduct experiments and share knowledge, and they're going to do the same thing. So we have 2 schools together here, coming from different locations, doing the same experiments together so they can compile and share their knowledge. And then they can put that information on the internet to share with other schools.
You have to wait for about 5 minutes before you put any of that in. Are you putting it in right away?
No, he had already.
You should have put the first solution in and then shaken it up and waited 5 minutes before you put the second.
There you go.
They're getting that better.
A little bit more.
Let's try one more drop.
Just a little bit more.
What happens? I have like some.
So do
Oh,
I.
okay. That should be fine. Okay, how many drops was that?
2,
No, the whole
The
thing.
top of my water's like a yellow green.
6.
How much? Yeah, like.
There we go.
Suppose
Very
that way.
good.
Okay, now you're down to the next step.
Yeah,
Now you are going to take the top off
already did.
and you're going to add 8 drops of this.
8. Okay. 8. Okay.
8 drops.
8 drops.
Oh, I got blue.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah.
My favorite color.
Okay, now I've got blue. Now
tight.
What about this one?
What were you guys doing?
Huh?
With this thing?
Okay,
we were
seeing how deep the water was.
how deep the water was, so we threw this in the water, and if the which part threw this in the water, and if the water went up to here, like any one of these things, that's how high and deep it was.
Going really well. The thing I like the best is that the kids are working together, and the curriculum out here covers the life science and physical science and the chemistry. So it's just nice to see the kids working together, and they're cooperating really well. And it's nice to get them out of the classroom so they actually see the real world uses of all the content that they get out of the textbooks.
Anybody know what this is? Who said it? Wild barley, meadow barley. Yeah, so this is meadow barley. So you're going to see a lot of the same plants that you were identifying this morning out here. So there's a lot of meadow barley, and some of the other plants out here that I'm going to show you, we're going to talk about, like this one over here. You see this kind of purple plant with the white flowers? Yeah. This stuff over here. This is called perennial pepperweed, and it's invasive. We can't get rid of it because it's so good at reproducing itself. You can come through here and rip it up by the roots, and if you leave enough of the plant, like a little sliver of the plant behind, enough, you know what cells are? Yeah. Okay, this plant can reproduce itself into a brand new plant from only 4 cells. There's very, very few multi-celled organisms on this planet that can do that, and this happens to be one of them. Okay, so it's a very noxious plant. The reason why we don't like it is because there's not much use for wildlife or for insects for it, but it also outcompetes some of the native plants because it grows quickly, grows in a lot of adverse conditions, and can shadow out the other plants underneath it so that they don't have a chance to sprout out and grow. There was a really good question if we allow hunting out here. Yes, we do. Today is a hunt day. We allow hunting on this wildlife area Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Now there's no worry that the hunters are going to come out and get us because the hunting is kept in a completely different area. This is the public area where we are, and the public area stretches pretty far down that way. The hunting area is basically all over by that tree line and down south a little bit, so it's very, very far away from us. But we do allow hunting. It's very, very beneficial for the wildlife here because it helps to control their populations, and it also provides a lot of revenue because I wouldn't be able to teach here. I wouldn't have a job if it weren't for the hunters and the fishermen paying for licenses and stamps and things like that, which helps to fund education like what I'm doing with you kids. And also, the hunters and the fishermen actually fund the creation, the actual creation of these wildlife areas. So it's real important that we have it. Okay, kids, can everybody listen while you're writing? These plants right here, everybody sees as we walk along, the little dried out little nubbies, okay? These are wild sunflowers. And when you come out here in the summer, this entire wildlife area looks like a sea of yellow. It's beautiful. But not only is it beautiful that all these plants are out here, these provide a lot of food for all the birds that visit the wildlife area, so they're real important. And right now you're seeing the dried out seed heads, and a lot of the birds have already eaten the seeds, but there's a whole bunch of seeds in these seed heads. So that's another wildlife food for out here. And this grows naturally. We don't plant that. This is grown up naturally. Okay, so you learned about perennial pepperweed. What else? What else? What was the one I first showed you?
Meadow.
Good.
Barley. Meadow barley.
Good. Meadow barley, right? And perennial pepperweed. And there's another one I want to teach you about. This one right behind us, the green with the white flowers. See the green plant's kind of lower? It's got little teeny white flowers on it. Can you see it? It's this green plant. Yeah, it's white sweet clover, okay? And some of it you can't really see the white flowers on it. There's a bigger stand of it on our way out. I'll show you. But the white sweet clover is wonderful for the bees and for a lot of other insects. These are migrating birds. This is migrating waterfowl, and that is amazing to see them in these numbers. I'm so happy you get to see them.
They boo-booing too.
This plant right here, this brown one, this is an important one too I want you to learn about. Don't touch it. I'm just going to show it to you. It's this dark brick brown one. Okay, these dark brown ones with the tons of seeds on it? See all the seeds on it? What's it called?
Curly dog.
Excellent. Oh my gosh. Where's that student that wanted to know those plants? Which plants? On the next pond? Okay. So who knows what this one is right here? What's that one called with the white fluff? The purple? What's it? Perennial? Pepperweed. Weed. Good job. You're close. That was good. And what's the... Yeah, good. So that's the curly dock with the dark brown. Good.